Hello, and welcome back to the Spoilercast, the show where we talk about movies so we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello!
Hello! And today, we're talking about a new movie, again. I almost said the title, but that's too early.
Seen the title, probably.
Yeah, you've seen the title, but I'll do my little intro. We've been talking a lot about the Conjuring movie, so I'm guessing you know what we're going to talk about. But before that, I just want to say, if you want to hear us talk even more about movies, you should check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. For $3 a month, you get literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of extra content. So check us out there, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. But enough of that, let's get into the actual episode. Today, we're talking about The Nun 2.
Noises.
The not long-awaited sequel to one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
It's The Nun 2. Nun harder. And none
more none, I suppose.
More none.
Because,
Nunnerer.
There was a lot of none.
The nunning.
Yeah, whatever.
Or just The Nun 2.
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's a Conjuring movie, especially one about the nun. It's literally the same movie again.
Just in a different setting, technically.
Different setting, but it kind of looks the same.
There's children involved this time.
Yeah. Instead of nuns, there's children.
Well, there are a couple of nuns as well, but,
Well, yeah, sure.
More children.
More children. There's an hour and 50 minutes of people walking through dark corridors, shining a flashlight, hearing something, and then
there's something in the shadow.
I guess it was nothing, and then blah! And then they cut. Then there's that's an hour and 30. Then there's about 20 minutes of a little mystery plot and a little bit of a love story. And that's it. That's the movie. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. No, not really.
You forgot. There's sort of a car chase. But it's not a car chase, but like a rushed car scene.
Sure.
Action sequence.
I'm counting that as part of the mystery
I suppose.
Part.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Because they're hurrying to something they have no idea it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, I mean. But I guess, we gotta hurry, because the movie says we have to hurry.
It might happen right now if we don't hurry. So
It might have happened yesterday.
Well, sure, but the hurrying I can understand. I'll agree with the hurrying.
Yeah.
That's the least of the problem in this movie.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh my god, there's so many other problems with this movie.
Yes.
So
I am still debating what spot this gets on my Conjuring ranking.
Yeah, last week we did a ranking of all the movies, excluding this, of course. The Nun ended up second to last. Only the original Annabelle is worse.
Yes.
Because it's just as bad, but it looks cheaper. That's the only reason it's not and I guess that's the only reason why it's not the worst.
The Nun has a little bit more originality to the story than Annabelle.
I guess. And it has the sound, which this movie didn't. God damn it, I missed that music. It didn't have the nun theme.
No.
Anywho. Should we just get into it? Should I just ask you, what did you think of The Nun 2?
I thought it was kind of bad.
Kind of bad?
No, but
No, okay, please.
It's not awful. It's not Annabelle bad. It's just bad, It had a couple of cool effects. It had one cool ghost, demon, monster, whatever you want to call it. I liked Teysa what's her name? How do you pronounce it?
Teysa Farmiga.
Yeah, I liked her.
Alright.
She was pretty cool. There was some interesting action, I suppose. I mean, people actually got hurt. There was jumping and oh
yeah,
buildings falling and shit. It had some cool looking stuff, but that's about it. It looked cool.
Yeah.
Story was terrible.
Yeah, I just opened Letterboxd and I saw your rating. We have the same rating, but you seem to like it more than me, a lot more than me. I thought
I'm never gonna rewatch this movie. There's a giant plot hole, according to me.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the spoiler
Yes, we'll
part.
get to that in the spoiler part. And like it was just like I said for the first Nun in the ranking video episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
It's like I don't why? Why is the monster so visible? Like, we obviously know what the monster is. It's the nun too, for Christ's sake. We know it's there.
Yeah.
But you could still shroud it in mystery a little bit, which they don't.
No.
That bothers me.
Yeah, I don't. They have completely lost the plot on what even makes a good jump scare movie anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
this
sure.
wasn't scary
like I
at
said,
all.
after the movie, I jumped, but I wasn't scared.
Yeah. Well, I barely jumped.
I jumped at the sounds a couple of times.
There was a couple of, but that was it. There was no,
There was
no Insidious the Red Door, which was actually scary. And it's out the same year, you know.
Yeah. No, but it was the loud sound and the sudden movement on screen that made me jump. But that's not fear. That's just, I was startled. Yeah. What the hell? Why would you throw things at me, kind of thing?
Yeah. I think that's all these kind of movies, really. It's just that this is not effective anymore. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe I'm numb to it, but... Yeah,
it might be, but some of them at least had that, like, when the dread before, you know, the build-up kind of got to you before. This time it's just like, get it. Something's happening. Can you just go on with it? I don't know if they dragged out the build-up each time, or if it just felt long, but it felt like it was minutes building up to, like, one tiny jump scare.
Yeah. And it was, like, usually you have, like, 3 or 4 really good jump scares in a movie like this, and the rest is actually, you know, story.
Yeah.
Or a little story. This had literally no story. There was, like, I lean over to it, I think it was like 5 or 6 scenes in succession, which was just, you know, someone walking and going, huh? Who's there?
What's that?
And then shining a light and hearing sounds, and then, ah!
Yeah, basically.
And then cut to next scene where, who's
someone
there?
else is walking.
Yeah,
there's a shadow.
It wasn't progressing the plot.
No.
You're like, oh, well, then maybe it's like character driven. No, the characters have no characters.
No, there's a MacGuffin.
There's a MacGuffin this time, yeah.
Which kind of has to do with the plot, I suppose, which is the only thing that moves forward.
But that is literally the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin is, you know, if you want to count all the scenes that involve the MacGuffin, like finding it out, there's the opening.
Yeah.
Because that's you know, Valak arriving in France, I suppose.
Yeah.
You have the scene where Sister Irene talks to the cardinal, I think he is.
At
the guy who
cloister?
comes from... Yeah, cloister.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he explains, like, there's been a slew of killings. His Eminence, yes. There is her vision, where she sees Saint Lucy. Do they mean Santa Lucia?
Yes, it's the same saint. Yes.
That's Santa Lucia.
Yes.
Was she burned by pagans? I didn't know that.
Yes, or they tried, but they failed. There's different tellings of it.
Yeah.
they didn't
she was
include
just burned by, like, not specifically pagans. I thought she was burned for, like, being a witch or something.
Well, she was burned. She was burned in general. The church won't acknowledge that they actually were involved with burning her, but they probably were.
Yeah, that's what I. And
they kind of cut out the part where she gouged out her own eyes. And she supposedly wore like a thorn crown or something, just like Jesus, and that's why there's a red ribbon involved.
Okay.
Because there's supposed to be blood.
Yeah, I knew about that. I didn't know about the eyes, actually.
Oh yeah, no, she gouged her own eyes out because something like, if I can't prove to you that I see God, I don't need my eyes for that, like, kind of thing. Huh. But I do think she gets them back by the grace of God.
They always skip that part in theology class for me.
And no, this is what I found out on my own because I thought that was fascinating.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So you have that. So that's 3 scenes. Then you have.
The end, I suppose.
You have the library scene where they find out, like, it's It's
well,
the eyes of St.
it.
Lucy. They confirm it. And then you have them fighting over it with the Valak. That's 5 scenes.
Yep.
Now you can argue that all the scenes with Frenchie like being weird is actually technically part of it, but that's not really forwarding the plot. It's just
it's just
foreshadowing stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's 5 scenes and they're about 3 minutes each. Yeah, 15 minutes.
Basically.
Exactly. I said half an hour. Yeah, and the other 15 minutes is Frenchie being in love with, what was her name?
Kate.
And then Rose was the kid?
Sophie,
sorry. I already forgot.
Who was Rose? There's no Rose.
No, there's no Rose. I don't know. Rose is the mom in Insidious. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. The rest is just, and it's not even good scares.
No. Because again, it's Scooby-Doo. We see the monster straight away, so we're not scared of it.
The nun wasn't scary here. It looked even more like a silly Marilyn Manson character.
Yeah.
It literally looked like Manson a couple of times. It was like, yes. No.
Heavily inspired.
Yes. I know people said, like, is Marilyn Manson going to play the nun? When they talked about this first spin-off movie. But that never happened, of course. Thank God.
Yeah, no. Thank God. We've kind of talked about a little bit spoiler shit, but I don't know if they spoil much.
It's not. There's nothing really to spoil.
Because there's no question what's gonna happen.
No, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Valak
kind of straight away.
Yeah, because they banished Valak back to hell in The Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
So we know it's gonna possess that. What's his name? Bill Wilkins. On Enfield Street.
Yeah. Who possesses the kid, whatever her name was.
Yeah, tries to get into the kid then. Just to fuck with him. Because that's what a demon is supposed to do. Not have, this hunt for relics or something. No, demons are just out to, like, basically break down your faith.
Yes.
Not, like, try and find the Eyes of St. Lucy to be an all-powerful, like, bad guy. Like I told you, it felt like a Marvel movie.
Yes.
Like, the bad guy needs to find the thing. He needs to find the Infinity Eyes to put in his, nun gauntlet to, rule the Conjuring universe. Like, no! That's so silly.
There's something about, I don't know if they kind of fucked up, because we're gonna get into spoilers now. I can't really not.
This is spoilers.
It's
Sorry.
the spoiler cast.
It's not even really spoilers.
No, but it's details, I guess. If you don't want to know the details, check out the movie first. But I honestly don't really recommend it. It has nothing to do with anything. This is a spoiler, I guess. It doesn't even really tie into the rest of the universe.
No.
There you go. So technically you don't need to see it.
No.
But if you want to see Taiga Farmisa in a shortcut haircut, well, like shoulder length, which really suited her, sure.
I thought it looked bad.
I thought it looked good on her.
Okay.
But that's about it.
I say, if you want to see Taiga Farmiga in a nun suit.
Well, I guess that too. She's actually a nun this time, She's, exactly. She took her vows in the last movie, so.
She's not a novitiate. Is that
got the black thingy on now.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. From now on, I guess spoilers.
Yes. So
spoilers.
I forgot what I was about to say. Fuck.
You were going to talk about, I guess, the plot hole?
Well, yeah. The entire movie is... There's 2 things that bother me. First of all, the entire movie builds up with the nun. We've had the nun for 2 movies already. She's been introduced before that even as a foreshadowed thing, but not really visually, but like we know there's this super evil thing.
Yeah.
We do figure out later on that it is the nun, Valak. They built Valak up so hard in the first and the second movie by how much is it Lorraine Warren is terrified of this demon.
Yeah.
So they had to ramp it up a little bit and make Valak even more powerful here because how else, we can't have the same monster again unless it's more powerful and more intimidating.
Yeah.
Problem is then, they've made an all-powerful demon. It's unstoppable, basically.
But hey, they keep stopping it, though.
Yes, and that's the plot hole. That's the biggest issue, the plot hole. They fucking banish it? we find out that Sister Irene is like in lineage with Saint Lucy.
Saint Lucy? Yeah.
Turns out she like sainted herself here, right there in the wine, and turned it into the body of Christ, and expelled the demon and burned it back to hell or something.
Yeah.
So how is Valak around for the Conjuring, for the time between the Nun 2 and the first Conjuring movie, where Lorraine sees Valak in her vision, terrifying her so much she shuts herself in a room for 8 days without food?
I don't know. I don't know.
Frenchie
I don't think they thought that. I think they're just gonna go like, oh well, it came back. That's gonna be their
the one
excuse.
thing that like could hint at that is that when Frenchie is all back together and happy and healthy and limping a little bit, and he meets Kate and Sophie, Irene just looks at him kind of weird.
First she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're back," and then he goes with the lady and the kid, and she's like, "Oh," and then there's
this look on her face. There was this little detail that the rosary she was holding, the cross dangling, it moved kind of oddly, as if controlled by something.
I thought so too, but I chalked that up to them just like, we need it dangling. Someone just flick it, and it just looked unnatural.
I thought I'm assuming like the demon is attached to the rosary, and then somehow Frenchie gets a hold of it, and that's why he has to cross back on him or something. I don't know, but they don't tell us.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to assume. They've fucked it up, and it bothers me so much, which is why I might rank this lower than the Nun the first Nun.
The Nun first.
I don't know. I don't know.
Minus one. Or is the Nun now Nun 0, and this is the Nun?
I don't fucking know.
I'm kidding. By the way, we were debating the other well, not Nun, the other novitiate, the other sister who joins her on this quest, Sister Deborah. We recognize her from The Last of Us.
Probably.
She is what's the girl's name?
Honestly, I probably recognize her from Euphoria.
Euphoria, yeah. She is the love interest from, the flashback sequence to before whatever the girl's name is gets bitten, when they're in the mall. The Left Behind DLC for the game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's her. That's where I've seen her. I mean, she's in other things I've seen, but that's where I recognize her.
That's where you recognize her from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I probably recognize her from Euphoria and A Wrinkle in Time, maybe.
Yeah, I never saw that, but yeah. That as well. That was also an unnecessary character. She didn't have an arc.
Nope.
I mean,
she did. Well, she's the only one who developed something, I guess.
I mean, you can't call that development. What now? We're talking about we're counting scenes. That is literally 2 scenes.
I know.
It's the first scene when they say, it's Sister Deborah. She won't make confession. And Irene goes to talk to her, and I said, well, I don't believe in this. I was just put here by my dad because, they wanted to, and I think they wanted to put a little bit of, women had it tough back then, which, it was not that kind of movie. But I want to say, we'll get to that a little later. We'll get back to the old girl power.
I also wanted to add a little bit of color.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But she's like, I don't really believe in this stuff. Like, I'm not really religious. I'm just here because I have to be. And then, she does nothing the entire movie. Then she has to run around with the kids, being chased by the goat demon, the devil, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then in the end, she does pray with Irene to consecrate the wine into the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
And then she believes, I suppose.
Question is she believing in God or is she trusting in Irene?
Oh, whoa!
I think she's only trusting Irene in this, because throughout this all, she only cares about Irene. They're friends, obviously. Deborah is not a good nun. She smokes. She uses God's name in vain. She questions things. She's physical. She takes on to physical violence when need be, instead of grasping for her cross and like, in the name of Christ, I compel you, whatever.
Yeah.
She literally jumps on Frenchie, trying to like wrestle him, when she's like half his size.
Yeah.
Would have been fun if she turned out to be a warrior nun, but
Nope.
No, they wouldn't
Did they
do
ever
that.
do a second season of that?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
We were supposed to do a TV cast on that, but yeah, the second season isn't that good, so we're not gonna.
No, I think I watched some of it and it wasn't good. Yeah. Oh,
Either
it didn't pick up where the first season ended. Sorry.
Not really. No. Either who. She is basically only there to like do the things that we kind of scream at the screen to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's the audience avatar.
Yeah.
Which was Irene in the last movie, and we had whatever his name was, the guy,
Father Burke or something.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't have an arc. There was no like building her faith, like her. No. Imagine if she figured something out, if she saw something, they're like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, it's almost like I'm having visions, like God is speaking through me.
Yeah.
I think I believe. No, we don't have that. It's all about Irene.
She got thrown into it. She saw stuff eventually and just went, well, I guess it's true then.
Yeah, she just tags along.
She's more of a babysitter than anything. Because she babysits Irene first, and then she babysits a bunch of babies. Well, children, girls.
Yeah.
The
terrible
rude French girl and her friend.
Yeah, it was awful. And all the things, the plot holes with this. It's all just the problems with prequels.
Yes,
where you kind of have to make it fit with something that's coming up.
Especially when it's slotted in between two movies. Then you have to too. It has to work with what happened in the first movie, but then also what's coming up.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to put those puzzle pieces together sometimes. It's understandable.
Sure.
That's why in general don't like prequels.
Exactly.
Unless it's really detached from the first one. But this is very much attached to the Conjuring universe because Frenchie is, the guy we saw, and he is the one who gave, like you said, Lorraine the visions of Ed's death.
Yeah.
So they fucked it up.
I mean, they kind of fucked it up when they started having him. He shouldn't have been in the first Nun. That would have helped. Because then they could have detached it even more, and they could continue making sequels. Just make sure they don't chronologically overlap with The Conjuring.
Yeah. But there, I think they wanted to have that connection to The Conjuring in the case that The Nun wasn't a success, so they never made a sequel.
So they could just have it there, but it's it's the guy.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh man, we made hundreds of millions of dollars. Now we're gonna make another one. Shit. We pin us into a corner. The demon comes back and they banish
let's knock down the wall and hope no one notices the big hole.
Yeah. That's the problem. They're not thinking ahead.
No.
They're just like, we'll make another one. Yeah.
I mean, they could have worked through this one better. They could have had this make more sense with The Conjuring. If they just decided not to have a happy ending, I guess.
Yeah, but then people want a happy ending in movies like this.
I know. And most of the Conjuring movies have had happy endings.
Yeah, and how was it going to end? How would you end it where Frenchie would just go on to be a farmer, but be very sad and also be possessed? Because that's the point. That's also a big mistake. He's been possessed by a demon 2 times. But the way they describe him in the first Conjuring is that he's, not a very well-educated man who had very little to live for. And you see demons prey on, the weak.
The weak.
Yeah. The guy seems, first of all, very well adjusted for what happened happened in the first movie. I mean, he didn't seem really sad in the first movie. Yeah, he was poor, but not poorer than anyone else in the village.
He was chippy.
He was fun. He was charming. He's very charming in this as well, and he seems to be happy. He walks away with a new family, basically.
Yeah. I guess if they want to, but again, now we're just speculating. We have to assume things. Maybe he loses the family. Kate and Sophie leave him or die or something.
Well, yeah, but that,
and then he's broken again. But it's still
you're gonna have to show that then. Are you
gonna
make a third Nun movie then? Oh God. I hope they don't.
Do not put that in the universe.
No!
Bring that back. Rewind. Nope.
Yeah, I'll read my review because I put that in my review on Letterboxd. I wrote, I was numb while watching The Nun too. I might be done with The Nun, and if they make another Nun, I'll have none of that.
Ha!
So, yeah. Anyway, that's
I'm
what
not going to bother writing a review for this one.
No. Oh,
they tried to do. There's one little I guess it's an Easter egg, I suppose, but I feel like they failed because it wasn't obvious enough. The one where I realized that I saw letters when Irene started figuring out that we're closing in. I saw parts of the name
closing in.
Yeah,
they went to France, and then she saw the nun in newspapers.
Yeah, which I gotta say that was a cool scene. The whole flicking of pages, but I did eventually go, how many pages are in this fucking newspapers?
Yeah, it was like 3 minutes. Cut to it. This is way too long. This movie.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and also, it didn't turn out what I thought it would. I thought she would be in the newspapers, but she just choked from the other way instead.
Yeah.
You saw letters from Valak, like the letters ALK at one point.
I saw the K. Yeah.
I don't know if the rest of the letters were there somewhere and I didn't see them, or if they kind of just accidentally put in some of the letters.
No, that was
because then I imagined I saw
since that's a thing they did in Conjuring 2, you know.
Yes,
it's a thing like showing the name of the demon.
Because Irene doesn't know the name of the demon.
No.
So I thought that would be a thing too.
Which is weird. They call it the demon of Saint Carda.
Yeah,
but they should know what it feels like.
No, but where? When did they find that out? They didn't.
Yeah.
They never found it out. Lorraine is the only one who found it out.
I guess. The Defiler.
Maybe that's how they couldn't really banish it. They didn't say the name. Again, speculations.
Yeah, because that is how they banish it in Conjuring 2.
Yeah, but again, speculations. They should have mentioned it. Like the only way to win is really to you need to know the name of the demon, and then they never find it out, but they think they beat it or something. They
do say though, with the Eyes of St. Lucy, you can banish it back to hell. It's a very powerful weapon. True. So, honestly, I don't think there might have been a comment like, but that means Frenchie has to be possessed again. And the writer's room was like, no one cares, whatever. I literally think that's it. I don't think they give a fuck.
No, they're like, I don't know how to fix it. Fuck it. If anyone notices,
who cares?
Whatever.
Yeah. It's literally
just make the movie.
Yeah, they'll just have people come in for the first weekend before the bad reviews. They'll make their money back plus a little extra, and then they're out of there.
Yeah.
Take the money and run. It's that kind of movie, really.
Yes. I mean, because Valak is done. She ended in The Conjuring 2, so...
Yeah.
We don't need more of the nun, no matter how cool and evil that demon is supposed to be. Which, I mean, she kind of feels lame, to be honest, for a demon. Because all she does is scare people and physically choke them.
Yeah.
She breaks a few bones at one point.
Kills a bunch of people,
she makes religious people kill themselves.
Yeah,
except for the one priest she burns.
It kills the little delivery girl. Snaps her neck.
That's true.
For no reason.
She did it in the first Nun, though. She made people kill themselves, more or less.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't get to see her kill people, at least.
No.
I mean, she throws them across the room, but that's also just a figment of Irene's imagination, basically, because they're not technically there, so... She gets too physical. A demon shouldn't be that physical.
No.
It should be the levitating bodies and that shit, which they had as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. A lot of levitating in this. It looked cooler than in the first
threw children around.
Yeah.
But there was too much physical violence with the actual nun.
Yes.
In another shape, I would have accepted it more of the telekinesis stuff.
Yeah, it was like when Valak has fully possessed Frenchie and he just punches Irene in the stomach, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Or slams her head into the floor.
Yeah, and then Deborah is doing some fucking wrestling moves. First she's jumping up on him, and I was like, that's like a wrestling thing. Then he literally body slams her into the ground. I was like, that's a wrestling move.
Yeah. Again, he is twice the size of her as well.
Yeah.
What did she think she was going to do?
Oh, by the way, did you notice that what's his name? Jonas Bloquet? That he was looking kind of like jacked this time.
He looked bigger somehow. Yeah. And I'm trying to hide it with clothes or something.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, because in the first movie he's kind of like gangly, you know.
He's a bit skinny, yeah.
Yeah. And maybe like after that he might, you know, he got an agent and they started, maybe he got more roles, I don't know. So he's like, well, I gotta get in Hollywood physique. So he started building muscle. Because he looked fucking yoked in this movie.
Well, yeah, since The First Nun, he has been in a movie called Savage. A French movie, I think.
Oh.
A couple of shorts in Working Girls. 1 in 1,000 Nights. That's a short as well, I suppose. Another short, Germinal, whatever that is, a TV show. Baragaki Unbroken Samurai.
Whoa.
Father and Soldiers. Maybe I had to get jacked for that.
Yeah.
Another TV show, 1899.
That's a Netflix, German Netflix show.
I think so, yeah. Another TV show, Marie Antoinette. I don't know, maybe he had to be a little bit buff for some of these roles and just couldn't slim down enough for the Nun too.
Yeah. No, I don't mind it.
No, it just...
He looked awesome.
Yes, but he looked almost too big.
Yeah.
But maybe it was part of like...
But it made him more intimidating since
exactly,
he had more to do as the demon, basically, or like possessed
he
by the
looked
demon.
Kind of more like the Nun, because the Nun is really big.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like his physical embodiment changed as well to fit the Nun.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I don't know.
Either way, he's like he is like the best character in the movie. He doesn't really have an arc, but he's like charming, he's nice.
He does stuff at least.
He does stuff. He has a little bit of a romance with Kate.
And a buddy thing with
his nice
Sophie.
Yeah.
He's best friends with Irene, I suppose.
This is not indicative of the quality of the movie. This is just me being super sappy when it comes to that stuff. But when Sophie ran up and hugged him in the end, I was like, oh. Yeah. I almost choked up a little bit.
Well, their friendship was the only thing that was actually interesting.
Yeah, it felt nice. And they kind of built it up actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Sophie, the actor, Caitlin Rose Downey.
She's pretty good.
She was okay. The action stuff was her best stuff when she had to run and scream, basically.
Yeah.
That was when she did her best stuff. When otherwise she was just too quiet, and I mean she was supposed to be quiet, but she was quiet, like too still quiet. I don't know.
That was like the best stuff in this movie. So god damn, they were screaming in this.
Yes.
I didn't really notice it until Irene was after the bell fell through the bell tower.
When she Sophie!
Just fucking screaming her lungs out. And then when she started burning in the end, it was just like, it wasn't even like cool or like scream.
No. It was just like, her voice literally broke from screaming so hard, loud.
It was almost like death metal screams. Yeah, it was nice. Good screaming.
Actually, Sophie's only been in 2 things before this.
Okay.
Was in The Princess, with King.
Oh yeah, that was
Joey King. I still haven't watched it.
Action movie. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm scared. And then in a few episodes of something called Clean Sweep. So she's pretty new to the scene, I suppose. For that, good enough.
She's better than like all of the fucking kids in Annabelle Creation.
Yeah.
If we're gonna compare kid actors.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, even the French douchebags were kind of better than the kids.
But yeah.
Though they had very little to do.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, they were just cannon fodder, except none of them died, so, okay.
Oh, hold up. From the trailer, when they climbed through the vent.
You didn't point it out, but I because...
In the trailer, it's the nun that stands in there,
yes,
right?
they see the nun standing there. Here they change it. I think that's honestly because they didn't want to give away a scare from the trailer, but they do though with the hand.
But they do because the scare is the exact same thing.
Yeah, but then you have the continuation when the zombie lady actually like
I guess.
Like and if we get something I actually liked, like I said to you in the theater, I liked the last like 20 minutes when it got campy, like silly.
Yeah, like gory, campy.
Yeah, you had the crazy goat man running around on all fours. And it's like, oh! Because I think that's scary when things are running towards you.
Yes.
The like, where? The jump scares aren't scary.
It needs to continue. It can't just be one jump scare. It needs to look at you and chase you.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
So that was scary, and he looked like a werewolf. Basically, he was like hairy and big, muscular, and running on all four. Yeah.
And the clomping of the hoofs.
Yeah. And then Madame, whatever her name was, who was the owner of this boarding school, Madame Laurent, when she was the zombie, like, and was like bugs crawling out of her mouth.
And eyes.
It was like, yes, that was great.
And she, like, they couldn't pull her out fast enough, or actually fast.
Yeah,
she kept tugging her in, and they had to do a tug of war. It wasn't just scare and then they let go. No, they had to tug. Keep going.
Yeah, and them fighting with Frenchie. The end where the nun is like, ooh, like floating there. It's kind of silly.
She wasn't floating though. She was on stilts.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, she's just has very long legs because her torso is like regular almost.
Yeah, but the legs. I mean, you could
legs
see
are 10 feet.
You could see the dress robe, whatever. Yeah. It went all the way down to the floor.
Yeah, sure.
It looked dumb. They should have CGI that she was floating or something.
Yeah.
That looked kind of dumb.
So I like those, the running from the goat man and all that. That was fun.
The physical stuff that didn't involve the actual nun was fun.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but it was fun.
It was fun, yes.
And I know we complained about that in the first movie, like it's silly to have the frozen zombie nun and all the kids running around. Problem is, there it comes in the beginning, like before they've really set the tone of the movie. So you're like, what is going? You had no idea what the movie was going for. Like, is it silly, campy fun, or is it going to be a conjuring movie?
And also, it's a little bit of a one-off.
Yeah, here it is all like, it's like a conjuring movie, but bad.
Yes.
And then like in the end, like, well, we'll have some fun as well. Oh, okay.
But at least they kept the goat man in it. He turned up like 2 or 3 times at least.
Yeah.
He fucking stabbed one of the girls through the door and through her shoulder. Good detail, though that kind of disappeared too quick, because when they actually ran out of there, then you didn't even know which one was hurt.
No. That was the just bully one, right? The leader of the bullies?
Yes, it was. But like in the crowd, when there are like 7 girls, you don't see which one's which. They're all blonde and kind of tall, and they're all wearing these blue, whitish nightgowns.
Yeah.
It was Simone.
Yes.
Or Léontine Doncieux. I guess you say. French name?
I don't have her. I don't have her name here. Whatever. You know French. You can pronounce it.
Yeah.
By the way,
I've never heard the name Léontine.
We were discussing if this goat demon is the ram from the Annabelle stories, or the ram demon from the Annabelle doll, which they have more. Yeah, they have. That's confirmed. Like through all the movies, it's a ram. The cult of the ram is, who brought it there and all that.
Yes,
and you always see it with the horns. And we were thinking, because this one had different kind of horns, so I'm looking up goat versus ram. What is the difference? The goats and rams are 2 different animals who are commonly misunderstood for being the same. This is a long thing, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but these differences are not just limited to their morphological characters. Rather, there are lots of differences in their anatomy too, yet most people, especially ones living in bustling cities, who know less about farm animals, tend to consider goats and rams to be the same. So what is the predominant distinction between goats and rams lies in the thickness of their coat and the shape of the horns. While sheep are covered in woolly fur, goats have a relatively thinner coat. Rams have iconic long, curved horns and split hooves, whereas goats have slender. So, but
the problem with this
is a ram a goat or a sheep? That's what I want to know.
Either way, thing here is that you use both the...
No, here it is. It says actually. Ram is a male sheep and is different from a goat. Rams, male sheep, and goats belong to 2 different families.
Well, yeah.
The most notable difference between the 2 lies in the fur and shape of their horns. So I actually didn't know that, well, obviously they kind of look the same. But I never thought of goats and sheep being of the same genus, but they are.
Well, so it's like us and monkeys, in my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose. But then...
Or like, zebras and horses.
Yeah, so then this was not the ram demon. This was a goat demon.
The thing here is, if you look up, like, in, like, the demon thing, where people talk about the devil, they call the devil both the ram and the goat.
I've always thought it was the goat.
I've heard both.
Okay.
But there's also a specific ram demon, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So it might be a separate thing as well.
But it's also, the ram is also easily identified by their iconic long and curved horns.
Yes.
While this had, obviously,
straighter
horns, because it could stab through the door. So yeah, it was not. Yes. It was not. They did not make a connection between Annabelle and the nun here.
No.
Even though they have done that, because the nun is, of course, in that photograph in Annabelle Creation.
Yes.
So,
However,
yeah,
the goat in this case is just a depiction of the devil because the girls scare themselves with the devil thing. It's probably just like a manifestation of their fear that Valak is just taking advantage of.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if Valak can like be in more than one place at once, but I guess so.
It's a demon.
She's a demon. She can do whatever she wants. Or it.
Yeah.
I'll call it she because it's a nun. And it's played by a female, as far as I know.
Yes, it is. It's played by...
poor thing.
What's her name?
Her face is ruined for me. Bonnie Aarons.
Yes, exactly.
I don't care what she plays next. She's always going to be the nun to me. Because her nose and her, like, eyes and the sharpness of her jaw.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're always going to be the creepy nun.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't really have much else to say, to be honest.
No, me neither. No, you know what? You need to help me. Is it better or worse than the original nun? Is the campiness enough? Or is it repeating the concept, like lowering the score?
I had to think it over because I this is just on the train ride home. I did put it above the original nun. But now that we're talking about it, I gave them both 1 star though.
Yeah, same. Like it's not better than anything else. It's either above or below the nun. That's it.
Yeah,
it's just slightly better than Annabelle.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not even better than The Curse of La Llorona.
No, because that's actually kind of fun in the end.
Yeah.
No, you're probably right because this is also a sequel, and they're kind of repeating themselves. This is worse than the nun one. Yeah, this is awful, as they say.
So this pushes Annabelle down to spot 9, and the Nun 2 takes spot 8. And the original Nun is spot 7, and then, the rest is...
Well, Annabelle was always 9.
Sure, but we didn't have 9 then, so... Oh,
sure. Yeah. So,
I'm saving that. So, there we go. It's set in stone.
our list now, updated from last week's episode, is now Annabelle at number 9, Nun 2 at number 8, The Nun at number 7, Curse of La Llorona at number 6, Annabelle Creation at number 5, Conjuring 2 at number 4, I know. Conjuring at number 3, what? The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It at number 2, and, oh my god, Annabelle Comes Home at number 1, because it's almost a real movie!
I still have Annabelle Comes Home as number 3, Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It is number 2, and the original Conjuring is 1 for now. I still haven't really made up my mind there, though.
Sure.
But those 3 are... They're top 3 at least.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then there's minute details that separate them from, like, which one is better. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
yes.
I have accepted the fact that no one is ever going to probably actually agree with me on Annabelle Comes Home as being the best of these movies.
No, but I give it top 3.
Yeah, sure. Even though, like, it's objectively better than the other ones.
It has its flaws, like we discussed.
Definitely
We've discussed it in multiple episodes now.
Yes.
Much like everything in the Conjuring universe, there's a lot of flaws in a lot of these movies.
Yes, God in heaven.
But they are very entertaining, most of them.
Yeah.
Hell, The Nun 2 was, for the last 20 minutes, very entertaining.
Yeah, it's just those first 90 minutes you have to get past. This is so long. Like, honestly, like, if they really wanted to, like, cut off the fat of this, like, kill your darlings, this would have been, like, an hour 10.
Barely. 45 minutes.
How nice would that have been?
but that's dumb though.
Yeah,
like,
and you can't. Then people say like, "Oh, this isn't the real movie."
Then they need to work on the script even more because you need.
It needs to be.
They just added stuff here. They didn't work on the script. They just added stuff to have.
It's not scary. Oh, I want to jump. People don't even fucking care. Did you see the girl who was like watching
on her Snapchat,
Instagram or Snapchat or whatever?
She was on her Snapchat.
Yeah.
She did jump at one point though.
Yeah, I know. We both noticed that. She's like, her whole leg.
Because her phone kind of.
She got the stanky leg. Yeah. There was one girl though. When we left the theater.
I left just before you because I had to.
Yeah.
I had too much to drink.
Yeah, you went to the bathroom and I stood there outside the theater waiting for you. Some of the other people came out, and there was one girl who was like, I don't know if she was kidding. It didn't sound like she was kidding. She was like, "Well, I thought it was the best movie I've seen this year." I was like,
well, maybe she hasn't seen a lot of movies. There was the guy sitting in front of me said like, "So we're watching this again tomorrow, right?"
Yeah,
I think he was joking though.
Jesus Christ.
Or maybe he was like, "Unfortunately, we're watching this again tomorrow because we've made plans with friends."
But maybe.
Maybe they
hey, I'll quote. It's the perfect quote. I'll quote Mr. Plinkett again. Most people are dumb. I'm sorry.
To each their own. You're allowed to like
I like
dumb
shit. Movies as well, but like, I can still recognize that they are dumb. I won't say, "Oh, the best thing ever." Yeah. Anyway, I think we should wrap it up there. It's a little shorter episode, but there's nothing. This is nothing to talk about. They haven't already said about the first Nun or any of the other Conjuring movies. So yeah.
We will be talking more about nuns though on Patreon.
Yes, because we are we talked about blaxploitation a couple of weeks ago on the Patreon. Because we talked about the Clone Tyrone. You should check that episode out. It's a movie that Netflix seems to wanna not show to people, but you should watch it because it's great.
Yes.
Like one of the better movies this year. So we talked about blaxploitation on the companion piece there. So this week we thought, why not we talk about more nun movies? And I mean, if you want to talk nun movies, you got to talk a nunsploitation.
No, we keep the exploitation going.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk European sex movies next.
No, but it wasn't European though. It was Mexican.
Oh right, this one is actually Mexican. We're watching Alucarda, but in general, nunsploitation is like an Italian thing. But yeah, this is actually Mexican. Mexican Spanish. Yeah. So check out patreon.com/don'tmakeascene if you want to listen to us and my friend Martin, who's kind of a connoisseur of exploitation movies.
He's been around before.
He's been around before, yes. He's going to join us, so check that out. And other than that, though, we'll see you in the next episode, which I don't know what we're watching yet. We have the Swedish movie, the Rift.
Avgrund.
Yeah, Avgrund. But we don't want to. I mean, that's not for an international audience. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. Did we make a?
Oh man, no. We do have a plan though.
Oh, we do.
But we'll keep that a secret.
Oh. Okay, so you'll have to tune in next week to find out what we're going to do. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It's produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Danny Geisel, Christopher Billén, Laura Kinney, Mom, Dad, and CK85.